I'm allowed to hit them.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink
Are you sure you're not
and
missing
Blue
any
Blood.
Ds?
I always count on my fingers, so yeah, we're good.
You didn't miss count.
In the last episode, the party arrived in the Sun Dragon village of Agnan, overlooked by Fort Helianthus. One of the soldiers from said fort, the world-famous politician and archer Oshin Cassidy, escorted them out of the Summersea Forest and ensured that they were comfortably taken care of in the town. Leaving Caro and Raccoon to process the previous few days' events and take care of personal matters, the rest of the party went with Oshin the next morning up to the fort, where they got themselves re-equipped on the Sun Dragon Army's dollar, and started heading back down after passing along their information and acquiring some information of their own. To the north of the town, about a day's journey, is a set of Geogran ruins that have yet to be cleared out, and all who venture there have yet to return. So, as the party makes their way back into town with Oshin at the lead, for those who went on that little trip, what would you like to do?
I need to buy some things. I need some books, like empty books, like no writing in them. And then I need some. I need a map of Yov, and I need some other things too, like charcoal and
pen and paper
incense and holy water. But I can get those from the temple later.
Oshin kind of turns around and kind of gives you a grin and sucks on his teeth for a second before nodding towards the distant inn, which you can see down the street from you. Well, I think it'd be more than fair to pick up your friends first before we start making trips around the town, eh?
I'm sure that you would like to talk to Caro again, huh?
Oh, leave a man to his devices, why don't you? Leading the way, Oshin leads the group back towards the tavern, and immediately upon entering, you see the inn's matron start immediately like dusting off her apron and like trying to make herself quickly presentable. And Oshin flashes all of you a grin before leaning on the counter and nodding up the stairs. You all can go ahead and fetch him. I have some business to take care of. And he rests his head on his hands as he smiles towards the matron, who immediately starts fanning herself.
Of course you do, you sly dog. He'll go
all right. The rest of you going to follow?
Give me some privacy.
I'm about to say no. You know.
Yeah, I figured. Whenever Zephyr hesitates, I just assume the answer is no.
Should I save them? But
where are we going?
No, well,
oh my god. We're at the inn, and Lucian and Gil are heading upstairs to grab Caro and Raccoon. Oshin's staying downstairs to fucking work his magic on the inn's matron, and that leaves Caleb and Zephyr is currently deciding what he wants to do instead of following the group.
Nah, but he's going to.
So the group's going up to get Raccoon and
Caro. Do you want to come?
Yeah, and Caleb will go.
Okay.
All right. Zephyr, what are you doing?
Hey.
Okay. You have any particular plans? Or you're just going to kind of see what you will see and wait for the group?
I would like to look over Oshin.
Okay. Like just seeing what he has on him or what?
Yeah, just kind of like get a general look at him, just like see what I can find on him.
Yeah. Basically, long story short, are you trying to find valuables? Is that what you have your eye for?
No, just more or less just like, again, Just anything in particular that guess would kind of get that would get Zephyr's eye like
Okay.
it's something that doesn't seem it seems off.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to rib you. I'm just fucking.
Sure, what I'm looking for, yeah. Get it?
Okay. Make me a perception check.
Perception, I'm good at that. Hey, 22.
Nice. All right.
Ooh, you played to my strengths.
Yeah, that's the DM anytime they're dealing with a bard or a rogue. You activated my trap card. So, Zephyr, looking over the archer and politician who has been putting you guys up for a while. You see he still has his bow carved with many elaborate runes and sigils slung over his back with a quiver of arrows. You see he has a short sword at his side that seems relatively simple, like more. It's clearly a weapon that's just a backup in case the bow is not viable in a situation more than anything. You don't see any one dedicated coin purse on him, which does kind of surprise and disappoint you, especially given that he's been slinging platinum. But what does catch your eye is he simply slides a hand over the inside of his coat and walks a platinum coin along his fingers deliberately within the inn matron's line of sight. And as you kind of look over his coat, you can actually see several internal pockets, likely distributing his wealth among that to avoid being pickpocketed all at once. And other than that, nothing particularly catches your eye, other than the fairly unique carvings on his bow. And you notice strapped under his overcoat, you see that he has a fiddle strapped to his back, likely a personal instrument that he just carries out of sight.
Valuable information.
But that's all you really immediately see on his person.
All right.
Okay. For those of you heading upstairs, Caro, you've been taking care of your personal business, which we've already discussed in private, over the last couple hours as the party went all the way up to the fort, stayed there, and then came all the way back. Raccoon has been quiet and just wrapped up in their bedroll. You check on them occasionally, make sure they're eating and drinking, but there's not a whole lot you can do given everything that's happened. But as you've already taken care of your business, the door opens and Lucian, Gil, and Caleb enter.
I look to them and just, oh, hello.
Hello, Carol. I look over at Raccoon in her little nest that she's made and frown. How's she doing?
Well, not much different from before.
We should probably just let her rest.
Yes. That would
She's
be a
been
good idea.
We're gonna go into the city with Ocean. Do you want to come along?
Sure. Sounds like a fun time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We might have some things for you. The Ocean had given us some armor, and she just kind of like gestures to the armor that she has on, and some other things.
Caro, you see that in place of the more what you've gotten used to and come to expect armor that the group had been wearing before, the vast majority of them are now wrapped in very thick pelts and furs, which tend to be very revealing for the very like broad-built Sun Dragon people, but on them is a lot more conservative and functional.
Oh, I like it.
It's not. I'm not used to this kind of, and she just kind of like she adjusts it, like she brings it up so like it doesn't reveal much of her chest. She's like fidgeting it with it. I'm not used to this, but I guess it's better than nothing.
It's
Well,
great.
Of course, you would think so. You nasty.
Just be honest.
She ignores him. Uh, the ocean is downstairs, so if you're ready to go, let's go.
Yes. Just kind of get up and stroll over to friends.
All right,
I lead them down.
Zephyr.
What's Raccoon doing?
Raccoon is still just slumped and wrapped in their bedroll. You can see the slight movement of their breathing, but other than that, nothing.
Gil's gonna tuck her back in one more time before he heads back out.
Okay. Zephyr, as you wait for the party, you see why the conversation is both whispered and it's even if it wasn't, it'd be difficult to hear over the just kind of the kind of overlaying din of the people still in here, just hanging out and enjoying meals. But you do see the matron kind of empathically explaining something to a very kind of concerned looking Oshin, who kind of furrows his brow a bit and continues to walk the coin along his fingers before giving a smile and sliding it along the counter to her and patting her on the shoulder before turning as your group descends the stairs. You see his eyes kind of dart between each of you and settling on you, Caro, and he gives a smirk before leaning against the counter as you guys group back up. All right, we ready to move then?
Yeah, let's go. I think, like I said, I have some things. Did we have like any armor and stuff that we could get care of?
He gives a smile and glances to you, Caro, and says, I don't know if you've already been informed, but I'm not going to be in town for a whole lot longer. So if there's any favors I can do for you, now's the time to ask me.
I do need a new crossbow.
He flashes you a grin. I'd expect nothing less from a sharpshooter. That I can certainly have arranged.
And didn't you have a drum as well, kiddo?
Oh, that is true.
He gives a smile. Easy enough to do.
Do you wear armor, Carol?
Yes, but I still have my leather armor. They didn't take our armor, right?
Yeah, they did take your armor. They just
Okay.
didn't take your clothes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they took the armor or not. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, I had leather armor.
He gives a smile and a nod. All right. Once we're finished up in town, I'll be sure to have the boys drop it off before tonight, and you all can be equipped to head out whenever you feel up to it.
Well, I'll be ready as soon as as my holy symbols are ready. Then we will be ready to go. You said by tomorrow, maybe, right?
Well, we're gonna have to talk to the smith about it, but hopefully. Luckily, it's fairly small, if a bit intricate.
All right, that sounds good. We can stop there on the way to the bookstore. Yes, I need to go to the bookstore. I need several books and a backpack and some other things.
All right. So, the group heading out. Now, ordinarily, I typically just make the call in advance, but since I know there's been some mixed opinions on the matter, I will allow you guys to decide as a group. Do you want to actually play out the shopping trip, or like I would be totally fine with just tell me what you plan to get, and I'll tell you if you can get it and how expensive it'll be. I'll leave it up to you guys. I just know some people.
Yeah, I'm good with just saying what I need and just going on with the day.
Anyone else?
That sounds good to me.
What'd they say? I'm sorry.
You're doing okay. You seem kind of distracted.
I'm fine.
Okay. And we're deciding if we want to play out the shopping trip in detail or just basically give me a list of what you guys want, and I'll tell you if you can get it and how
So
pricey
we
it'll
should
be.
role play it. I mean, like, what's the point of D&D without role play?
I'm sure there's plenty of other things to roleplay today.
Okay, so 2 votes for brevity, 1 vote for roleplay. Qua, Austin, any opinion?
Not really. I'd be fine either way.
Austin?
Well, I mean, I'm fine. I am fine with either way, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely down to roleplay, depending on how you. Yeah, the encounters are interesting.
Well, I'll do what I can. All right.
But I mean, either or.
Okay, well,
Plus,
I guess
like, everything. One thing I've learned in D&D is if you could take an opportunity to possibly have interaction, you should take the opportunity to have interaction.
All right. I guess we'll roll with that then, if everyone's happy with that.
Sure.
Okay, so since it's been mentioned a few times, and with Oshin guiding you, there's no real risk of you guys not being able to find something you're looking for. Lucian, you said that you were interested in finding a library where you can possibly get books, both empty and for personal use. So. Easy enough to find, although you do see Oshin kind of pop a smile whenever you ask to be directed to somewhere to find books.
As soon as we get to the library, if somebody looks at Lucian, her pupils immediately dilate. She's so happy right now.
Sure enough,
I
you
guess
guys.
she likes books.
Yeah,
She loves books.
yeah, that makes sense. So, Oshin leads you all to a somewhat kind of isolated from the rest of the town and fairly dusty and decrepit looking, but definitely recognizable library. And the archer approaches and with a very exaggerated bow opens the door and bows to all of you. Age before beauty.
I walk in, but I'm like that kid in the candy store. I'm like looking at everything.
Well,
Alright.
I just thought, well, if it was H first, wouldn't it technically be?
It would be Gil first.
Yeah, it'd be
But
Gil.
Lucian's just like out of my way.
Out of my way, bitches.
So, entering in, you guys find yourself.
Yeah, they're moving or get run over.
So, entering in, you guys find yourself in. See, the building from the outside was relatively large looking, but as you get in, you actually find yourself in a fairly cramped space as it is filled tightly with bookshelves, very dusty tomes and books on all sides, and there does not appear initially to be anyone present. However, after a moment, you hear the thump of wood against the wooden floor, and turning, you see stepping out from around the side of one of the bookshelves with a dusty leather-bound book slung under their arm and leaning on a very clearly homemade wooden cane, a elf. And while you do see they have this illustrious silver hair and beautiful, youthful skin. Lucian and Gil, especially, you recognize just from their demeanor and their eyes that this is an elf who has seen time untold, and just only by dint of being an elf have they not physically started to show it.
Hello.
Cooler than me.
Is it can we tell if, like, the gender or no?
It's a bit hard to tell given that they're an elf, but if you had to take your best guess, probably male.
Okay. I will go up to them and hello.
He kind of stares at you for a moment, kind of squints. That sort of face of someone who's like trying to determine if they recognize someone or not. Before his face breaks out into a smile, and you can see he's missing several teeth. And he holds out a hand to you. It is a pleasure to see someone as interested in literature as myself. I can tell just from looking at you. And he clasps his hand into your own and shakes it vigorously and turns to look at the rest of you. And he takes a long moment staring at each of you one by one, but only throwing a quick glance to Oshin, who just gives him a wave. And he turns back to you. Just like that, I have all of your faces committed to memory.
Really?
He gives a smile and taps his temple. They say I have a very keen mind.
I stare at him for 10 seconds and memorize him. Me too.
He gives a grin. It is so nice to see someone else. And he kind of stumbles a bit before stepping around you to look at everyone else and gives, again, several gaps in the tooth smile as he says, "Welcome to my library. My name is Oleander. What can I help you with?"
I'm actually looking for some very specific items. Do you have any empty books, like I wouldn't say like a diary, but like journals maybe that I can write stuff in? Because like even though that I can remember lots of things, I just don't. I want it just in case I do forget.
He gives you a slow nod. That can certainly be arranged. Anything else?
Um, what 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 kind of books do you have on? Let's see, what did I write down that I wanted a book on?
Well, Gil's got a few personal, but
Of course he does. What
does that mean?
Can't remember what I wanted. I think I'll just like maybe browse around, see if there's anything that would take my interest, if that's okay.
Of course, feel free. And he bows to step out of your way. So go ahead and make me an investigation check. But while you're doing that, is there anything from the library in particular that anyone else in the group is interested in?
I
Yeah.
think Caleb might look around a little
I
bit.
think what
see
would
if
a
there's
library?
anything.
Oh. I want to go up on him.
DM, I'm gonna personal or PM you what I am looking for.
Okay.
Can I have Caleb just look around?
Yeah, same as Lucian, so just make me an investigation check.
Is it perception or investigation?
Investigation, because you're like looking around in one particular area. So Lucian and Caleb are looking around. Gil has something specific in mind.
I got 13 total.
And Caro and Zephyr, are you interested in anything, or are you just going to wait for your friends to finish up?
I wanna go up to Oleander.
He glances at you and gives you a nod. Is there something I can help you with?
Do you have books on Lovelanders from here?
He immediately, you can almost see the numbers crunching in his head as he glances between the shelves. Yes, of course. Are you looking for a general history, geographical locations, biological notes from researchers?
All of it.
He gives you a smile. Of course. Give me just one moment. And he starts to step away. But while he's doing that, Zephyr, did you have something in mind? Or
Zephyr will just patiently.
okay. Kara, Oleander is getting you sorted out. Lucian, what did you roll for investigation?
I got the 23.
Okay,
You see
searching.
what I mean?
I had a natural
You'll-
19. Almost a natural 20.
Looking around, you do find it is quite the extensive collection. However, the sorting could use some work, and the library is too large for you to go through every individual shelf. However, from what you do find several medical journals from various publishers that catch your eye. And while you yourself don't have a whole lot of use for them, you are surprised to find several spell books. But one thing that really catches your eye is among the medical journals, several works published by your father.
I take them.
Okay. Caleb, searching around. While by no means illiterate, you're not exactly an active pursuer of this sort of thing. But you do find...
Comparing his time and age, what other forms of entertainment are there?
but searching around,
Brothels.
you do find a few...
His age, but okay.
Well, that's why, like, old-timey families had so many damn kids. What else do they have to do?
I mean, yeah. We're going to go down to the dock and wave at boats for a while. Glad somebody got it. All right. But looking around, you do find several books, both fictional and historical, about famous assassinations. You do find some general cultural and historical notes regarding the Tibadran Kingdom. And you do find a few young adult fiction novels that seem at least entertaining for a quick read, if nothing else.
Caleb's mostly looking at... Caleb, if he's ever read books, is probably just something to pass the time with a good story. So he's probably just looking for stories. So he's just going to kind of go down the rabbit hole of the stories you pointed out.
Sure. So you kind of sit down and just start perusing some of the young adult fiction. Okay.
Is he even allowed in this section?
Oleander's...
adult, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, Oleander's not stopping you.
I mean, is he a young adult? Is 14 a young adult?
Well, it's young.
Yeah.
Probably about as precise as you're gonna get in this kind of
I
era.
mean, technically, I'm an adult and I'm 9.
Valid.
You know what I meant.
I know.
Gil, if you're not going to ask Oleander for what you want, make me an investigation check and see if you can find it.
Well, he is going to ask. It's just I didn't want the others to hear it.
Okay.
Just say it. Lucian's too busy looking at her
Okay.
medical books.
Is he looking for what?
Yes.
Knowing Jeremy, he's looking for smut.
He is,
He is.
but he's also looking for Gyogren technology books.
Okay, so some of it is productive, but the rest of it is just smut.
All right. You managed to catch Oleander as he's just almost like gliding down the shelf, just occasionally snatching them seemingly at random, building up a pile of Lovelander-related books in his arms as you catch up to him.
Then once I get to him, I'll say, well, my first priority, if you don't mind, I was wondering if you have any books on Gyogren technology.
Of course. Are you looking for blueprints? Are you looking for the historical usage of technology, or simply the historical significance of some of it?
More blueprints and like owner's manual on how to use them.
He gives you a nod. That is something I can arrange. I hope you know, though, that what I can provide you is going to be slightly outdated. Orders from the Gunslingers Conclave. I'm not at liberty to share some of their most recent handiwork.
Of course. And then anything else that might show strengths, weaknesses on them would be useful as well.
He kind of puckers his lips a little bit and says, I hate to think of the knowledge I contain in this building being used for such purposes. And besides, I can assure you without even checking the reference section that anything you would find on weaknesses of the technology is something that any passerby could tell you. It's messy and takes too long to load in the heat of battle, and that's assuming you get to fire at all.
True.
He
And then he'd also say, I'd also like if you can find it, maybe some, smut.
he to your surprise,
I'm
give,
done.
gives you a nod.
I'm
Of
done.
course. Give me just a moment to help your friend, and I will get back with you.
I mean, I'm
We
not
appreciate
surprised.
You could have just
Um,
added some
I'm immediately opening
certain
up one of my books,
interesting-
and as I go towards him, you wouldn't happen to have a map of Yav?
Of course, we keep many cartographical accomplishments here in this library. Are you looking for a globe, an atlas, or just
Oh,
something?
maybe an atlas. That would actually be really useful.
He gives you a smile and a nod. Of course, I'll be right back with you.
Yeah. I'll find a chair and just start reading some of my father's work.
All right. So, Caro,
I was going to
and
actually say, how long do you think it'll take for him to find everything?
you won't know until the time passes, but I will say
If
by
I
the
had
time
to
all
guess.
it's probably, especially given that you've already seen several people asking him for stuff, it's probably going to take him bare minimum a few minutes.
Because technically, Gil doesn't have any money, so he won't. He would have to ask Ocean if there's a jeweler or general tradesman nearby.
And Oshin's just kind of leaning against the door, seeming just kind of bored, not really seeming super into the whole books thing, similar to Zephyr. And as he just kind of twirls an arrow between his fingers, he raises an eyebrow at you. Well, I suppose I could point you in the right direction, but what do you need it for?
I'm a little short on change.
He gives you a grin. How much do you need?
I'm not sure yet, but with stuff like this, I like to buy my own private information.
He gives you a shrug. Suit yourself.
Appreciate it though.
He kind of just gives you a sniff and a nod, and glances down at Zephyr, just kind of waiting slightly impatiently. Not much of a reader either, are you?
Oh, I just don't see the point of being here, but for now, I'll wait.
He kind of gives you a smile. If I've learned anything from the people I've had to work with, is that you got to learn to give a little to get a little. Believe me, you're going to be very thankful that you entertained their passing fancies whenever they have to entertain yours.
Hopefully, we can get to a better shop.
He tilts his head. Not a fan.
I mean, just I see no reason to be here at the moment, so I have a few things in mind that I would like to attend to. So
He gives you a nod. I suppose that's understandable. Just give him a few minutes. Oleander's old, but he works fast.
That's fine.
About 15 minutes go by. Caleb just nose deep in a fairly engaging action adventure novel, and Lucian pouring through notes that are to you very familiar, but it's that that both nostalgic feeling in its own way, but also the just kind of letting yourself kind of drift into your memories for a bit.
I I start making like mental notes for myself to underline and maybe get. She kind of like looks around. Is there like any bookmarks? I don't want the dog eat ear. That's so like not cool.
So I'll say by this point, about 15 minutes have gone by and Oleander returns. And he is practically buried under a mountain of various books. Just you guys at the counter with just a quick glance up the various spines of the books, you see various geographical and biological information pieces regarding Yavik Lovelander varieties. You see several wrapped up scrolls, and most notably, for those of you who weren't privy to the conversation, you see several books with very eye-catching titles, to say the least.
What do you mean by eye-catching titles?
Very obvious porn.
Lucian quickly looks down into her father's research and just shakes her head and shudders.
I can't imagine the kind of stuff that comes out of this kingdom.
So he places this massive mountain of literature onto the counter and starts quickly divvying it out into different piles for each person who had requested specific things. Lucian, you see a building pile of several, about 4 in total, leather journals and a wrapped up scroll on top. Fairly large, but like able to still be carried comfortably if you secure a backpack.
Okay.
Gil, you see several more scrolls on top of several colorful novels, and Caro, you have just basically a pile of textbooks, for lack of a better term, and Oleander, with sorting all this out with rapid movements, leans on his cane and gives a smile. Will that be all for all of you?
I know this sounds a little bit weird. Do you have like a backpack or like a bag that I can carry?
He at this actually kind of looks down and bites his lip, seeming kind of not like upset, but just kind of like thinking, like honestly not too sure. And then he kind of looks almost kind of like curiously towards the back, and says, "I will check." And as he starts to step back from behind the counter, he nods to all of you. Feel free to peruse what I've already grabbed for you in the meanwhile.
I'm just standing there reading my father's work.
Caleb probably just shows up with whatever book he's been reading. Clearly, whatever it is has engrossed him.
You guys see Caleb carrying this novel with a very clearly lovingly crafted art piece on the front, of a red cloaked figure in black armor with dual blades in their hands. Very definitely like nothing informative or historical, but definitely entertaining at a glance.
Assassin's Creed, eh?
I had a
I don't
feeling
know.
Caleb would gravitate to a story about a thief or an assassin.
Mm-hmm. If you're curious, the title of the book is The Sea of Death.
Ooh.
It's like an edgy young person book, basically.
Yes, it is literally
17-year-old.
exactly what you think of when I say young adult novel. All right, and what's up, Kara?
Just take the top
Edgy.
book off of this pile.
You're holding in your hands a just sort of biological textbook of Yavik Lovelanders as opposed to Lovelanders from elsewhere in the world.
And I was gonna say, Gil is going to actually, instead of going for the smut first, he's actually going to look at one of the
He's saving that
scrolls.
for later.
Of course he is.
Gil, you take the ribbon off and unfurl one of the scrolls, and you are a bit disappointed. Unfurled before you is a blueprint of a very outdated firearm. By the time you entered the army, this firearm was already considered obsolete and fading out of popular use.
Still good to study up on.
Eventually, Oleander returns, and slung over his back is less a backpack and more one of those personal book carriers that you just kind of strap to yourself. So it cannot do much more than carry books, but it would serve more or less a similar function. And he holds it out to you, Lucian, with a bit of a smile. Unfortunately, this is all I happen to have on my person. Most people choose to either read whatever they want here or take it home right away and return it to me as soon as they can.
I immediately start like categorizing the books into the bag. This will actually do really this will do great actually, and like I'm like saying that as I'm categorizing.
He gives you a warm smile and turns to look at all of you, and you can see him kind of holding a finger out to each of you, kind of doing a mental count in his head of the collective value of everything you've asked for. And following some thought, assuming you guys want to at least attempt to purchase everything he's offering.
Yes. I want all the books and the address.
I was just giving everyone time to make sure.
Yeah.
So doing some quick mental math myself.
I'll need to know how many books I got.
You have 4 empty leather-bound journals,
Okay.
and the atlas. And do you want to purchase the documentation of your father's work?
Yes.
So okay, I'll throw that in. So after a moment of calculating, Oleander smiles and leans forward. For the lot, assuming you intend to return them to me relatively soon, I would say 25 gold with an additional fee of 2 gold collectively for every additional day until you return them.
How much would it be to buy it indefinitely?
At this, you see him kind of visibly kind of recoil a bit, and he kind of taps his fingers on the counter. It is not normally my persuasion to give the knowledge of this library away.
Well, that's why I'm asking you how much it would take.
He shakes his head and leans back against the counter. I am sorry. I am happy to know that there is other like-minded people out there, but this is a sacred place of knowledge, and I cannot simply allow that knowledge to be lost, especially were something to happen to me. The knowledge you took with you could be lost forever.
I understand. I don't know if, you know what, I could probably give it back to you probably in a couple days.
He gives you a smile. Of course. And he taps his fingers on the counter and says, if you want to extend your initial keeping of the books for a few days, and he thinks it over in his head before nodding and saying, 32 gold for being able to hold on to these for a few days.
Okay, that
What
is
is that,
not a
like a
problem.
week?
From Lucian's phrasing, it's about it's an assumed about 3-day period.
Yeah, that should be fine. I just want to kind of skim his books and write down what I think is important.
Valid. Okay. So Lucian, are you gonna spot everyone or like just so that
Uh,
I was gonna say Gil put in 5 gold.
is that the total for everything?
yes, for everything you're all borrowing for the next few days, most of the expense comes from the journals, which, understandably, I assume that is not something that will be returned to me, but as there is no knowledge contained within, I am more than happy to part with it and encourage the spread of knowledge.
Caleb is just like, are
35
you?
gold, you said?
Real quick, what was Caleb saying?
Caleb's like, are you as serious about keeping fictional information as you are non-fictional?
He gives you a smile and says, in a proper mind, fiction is just as important as nonfiction.
Caleb is sad that he won't be able to keep this book.
I go through my pocket and hand him 40 gold. I want you to keep the extra gold for yourself.
He kind of glances down and furrows his brow and taps his fingers before nodding. I suppose I don't have much choice but to accept. The library thanks you. And he gives you a bow before pushing the collected assortment of scrolls and books towards each of their respective purchasers. And Lucian, as he slides yours towards you, he also adds a quill and inkwell.
Yay! Also, do you maybe just have like an ink pen and not like a quill and ink? Maybe like an ink pen.
He gives you a nod. Of course, and he exchanges them behind the counter for a simple ink pen.
Thank you.
All right. So, with the gold paid, so those who contributed to the pot deduct their respective amounts. He gives you all a smile. Thank you for visiting the library. Have a nice day, and I will see you soon.
Yeah, I will come back as soon as I can with my book. Well, with all of these books. Carol, is 3 days enough for you?
Wait. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Caleb, is 3 days enough for you? I know that you would probably like more, but that's all I can do right now. He's engrossed in his book. It's okay. Let's go.
What happened?
They were asking for you, but you didn't answer, so we just improv it
They
off.
cut out.
They were asking if 3 days would be enough for Caleb to finish his book.
Caleb just looks up like, probably.
Well, if we need to, when we come back, we can extend how much longer you need it.
Extend it, I'll do it myself. I got plenty of gold from that hoard that they had.
Well, I covered it this once for you, okay?
Okay.
I kind of give him a little brush through his head.
All right.
You reach
Caleb's
upwards.
all like, has to like starts trying to fix his hair. Caleb
All
doesn't
right.
like people messing with his hair.
Valid. Okay, so Oshin gives a smile. Everyone ready for the next pit stop?
Yes. Where's to next?
Out of character. Who else has something on their particular agenda?
Well, I have a few, places
Zephyr have a few places.
Yeah, I still
Yeah, I was
need a
gonna say,
bag. I
wherever
still need a
Zephyr
bag.
goes, I'll probably need something there too.
Okay. Zephyr, since you and Gil actually have a destination in common here, would you like to hit up the jewelers next?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'd like to go to the jewelers too. Actually.
Okay. So,
That sounds good. I'm trying to do an accent. I am trying.
it's all good. It is D&D. Nobody's going to fault you. Oshin leads you more back into the depths of town now. Thankfully, with it being the middle of the day, the businesses are open, but not particularly bustling, as, again, the good bulk of activity here happens at night. And leading you to a very lavishly bejeweled and decorated building, you enter and are immediately hit with that just like thick, relaxing, almost velveteen scent of candles and incense, and just that very just like your muscles immediately unwinding as you enter this velvet-lined red room with shelves of various jewels and bejeweled items lining the walls. And as you look around, you see almost more lounging than leaning over the counter a half-orc with black hair, smoothly well kept and brushed, but almost undercut so that it covers one side of his face completely, and you can see several jeweled piercings running up the left side of his face as he grins, the tusks on full display, and you can actually see one of them is pierced and bejeweled as you all approach. Welcome, darlings. What can I do for you?
Yeah, some stuff for sale.
He a little bit louder. What'd you say?
Said I got some things for sale.
He gives a very lazy, relaxed smile and leans forward. Of course, let's see what you have. Let's see what Merlot can do for you.
What Gil sells. I'm gonna look around the store and look at the prices of everything.
Yeah, and I'd
So
like to
we're
do a
in the
few things too.
jeweler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, because
Gil
Caleb
put
has
down
those
his
tool
gems.
jewels he needs to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, that assumes this guy has the right money to be able to. Because, sometimes, like, if you're selling expensive things, sometimes you go to a place and it's like, well, just no one around here has that kind of money.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Gil's already taken a shot at it, but Zephyr, go ahead and make me an investigation check. Although, Lucian, you said you're doing the same, right?
Well, actually, I wanted to see if I can maybe. I have 3 gems. You said up worth to 1720.
Mm-hmm.
I mean 1120. So I wanted to see if maybe I could maybe trade for like a diamond for 300 gold worth diamond.
Okay.
Because I want a couple of those, but if I could trade at least 1 or 2 of these gems for 1 diamond, I would really that would be great.
Okay. But all right. So just keep that in mind. Zephyr, roll me an investigation check. But in the
Okay,
meantime,
I did.
Gil, you approach the counter first. Merlot, the half-orc jeweler, lounges and smiles as you start rifling through your pockets. What would you like to do?
Is he the piggy style orcs?
All orcs in this setting are piggy, so.
Okay, just double checking for visual.
Mm-hmm.
Just double checking.
Mm-hmm. So,
I
Gil,
figured
what
they
would you like to do?
I'm going to place the 2 gems that I got on the counter.
Okay. You pull out a very large, thick pearl necklace, taking up a lot of space in your pocket because it was meant for a city of ogres and giants, and a small but respectable topaz gem that you set down, and he looks over all of them and kind of glancing to you for permission to handle them.
Of course.
They reach behind the counter and pull one of those zoomy goggles and place them over their eyes before starting to closely examine the pearl necklace and give a slow nod. Created on the shores of the Blackened Sea, worn by an ogre, likely produced in Mercurial, traveled quite far through the swamps to get here, I imagine. And glancing back up to you, and you said you're here to sell, yes?
Correct.
He gives you a smile and says, consider it done if you're willing to part with them.
For the price.
Now, again, for this one,
I
so
know.
yeah, so he will, he is able and willing to offer you the market price for these gems. And as he steps away, Caleb and Zephyr, you two in particular, perk up as he turns around and opens a back door of the jewelers, and all of you are almost immediately blinded by this shining treasure trove of gold and gems, and they just start kind of almost like, not like animalistically per se, but just like very cautiously like feeling and sniffing around, almost like getting a sort of like completely eyeballed feel for how much they're gathering before nodding and carefully adding what Gil parted with to the pile before grabbing several handfuls of gold and approaching you, and almost like without a care for how valuable what he's carrying is, places them in just meaty handfuls on the counter and gives you a smile, Gil. I think that is more than fair.
Of course.
He gives you a smile. Of course. And he pushes the gold towards you before nodding. If you don't mind, I don't mean to be rude, but it looks like there's quite a line forming behind you.
Oh, I see that. And then he'll pocket the gold and steps aside.
All right. Next in line was Lucian but before we start on you,
I've never been this busy before. I can't afford this shit.
Zephyr, how'd you roll on investigation?
23.
Nice, everyone's rolling well tonight. So
He says after I rolled a 13.
man, it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a
It's not
0.
bad.
You can't have a 0.
Yes, you can. It is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at
You
your
have to roll a
strength.
nat 1 with like a -1.
Or
that would just be
roll
a
a
nat
2
one.
with a -2 modifier.
Yeah, like if I roll a 2 with the acrobatics or athletics, I mean, I have -2, so that's 0.
Is 0 worse than a nat 1?
No,
Actually, technically no, because a nat 1 is a critical fail, whereas that would just be a bad, but just a failure. Anyway, so 22, and you said you were checking just the kind of general price range?
Well, yeah, more or less I'm more or less gonna look at a lot of the emeralds, mostly like see what the prices on the emeralds that they're like. Is there like an emerald ring? See how much they are selling an emerald ring for, or something like that. It's just checking the gauge of the prices.
So basically, you have intent to haggle.
Yes.
All right. Searching around.
Like everyone else is just happy just to get like, a decent chunk of change for these things. He's gonna try to like weasel this guy.
Hey, they'll still get profit, maybe.
And Zephyr looking around, it appears emeralds, especially here, tend to go for quite a lot. The raw uncut emeralds that they're offering tend to go for barest minimum in the thousands, but emeralds that have been finely cut or embedded into other objects and sold as decorative things tend to be even higher, upwards into the realm of 2,000, 3,000.
Alright.
He's going at it like this is fucking Pawn Stars up in this shit.
Like, how much can I get out of this?
The most I can do is this. The most I could do is this.
So, are you happy with what you found, or?
I mean, I just so somewhere in a couple thousands.
Yeah, but the most you're able to find is a bowl that is carved itself out of various gems and then has other gems embedded in it.
Expensive.
Which
Who
that
in town is buying that?
to be fair, this guy appears to have a full inventory. But that seems to be the most expensive thing you can find, at least that incorporates an emerald, and that is going for about 9,800.
You gotta remember, this guy's only gonna take an offer he can
Well,
make
that's
money
like with
on.
everything. You said like multiple gems.
Yeah, basically the bowl is made out of gemstones, and then other gems are embedded around it.
More or less, just like my main thing is like an emerald ring, and my thought
Basically,
process.
if someone shined a flashlight on this, it would be like a flashbang or a disco ball, depending on how things go. Alright, so
my thought process was
Honestly, there are probably kings that would still think that's excessive.
but if I could find basically like emerald rings and see how many, like, kind of compare my rock to an emerald ring and see how much potential profit they could make out of that.
okay, make me another investigation check, but keep your result ready, and I'll give everyone else a chance and then come back to you.
Has money in stock that he's able to pay market value for things and still make profit.
Okay. So for those of you at the counter, Lucian, you're the sort of next in line, metaphorically speaking. So Merlot smiles and leans, kind of lean lounges over the counter. And what can I help you with?
I bring out the 3 gems that I have and set them on the counter.
He readies his goggles, but looks to you again for permission.
What I would like to do, I don't know if it would be possible, but I need diamonds.
Oh, don't we all,
Particularly,
darling?
particularly diamonds that are worth 300 gold.
He tilts his head to the side. 300 gold worth diamonds, mostly used in spells used for revival or basic medicinal purposes.
That is exactly what I need it for.
He gives you a smile and says, "Let me finish examining these puppies and I'll see what I can do for you." And he snaps the goggles over his eyes before picking the gems you gave up one by one, almost caressing them as he carefully examines each of them. And again, you can hear him start muttering to himself, "Again of orcish make, likely a very unfortunate incident happened in the mercurial treasury." And as they
Guys pretty much almost certain we've stolen these things.
It's
But
like, likely something
Nobody
happened to
will
the
trace it back to
treasury.
me.
Yeah, us happened.
those of you at the counter, as he turns to add Lucian's gems to his personal pile in the back, you can actually hear him mutter to himself under his breath, "Well, at least the money's good." And adding to the pile, they return to you,
Even
Lucian,
more
with
mad that we stole some of his shit.
returns to you with an armful of coinage, and gives you a smile. "Now, diamonds I can certainly provide. You've come to the right place for that, darling. If you like, I can simply take the value of those out of what I'm giving you here, save a bit of exchange.
I think that would be, doable. I think that's good. Yes.
He gives a smile. Of course. Let me finish up with your friends and I'll be right with you. I want to make sure I only give you only the best at Merlot's Jewels.
The best,
Uh,
only the best.
He gives you a smile, flashing the bejeweled orc tusks, and starts to turn towards Caro, and almost making casual conversation as Caro steps up. You know, my brother insisted we call the shop the Family Jewels, but I'm lucky I talked him out of that.
Lucian, like, her cheeks get a little red.
Glancing to you out of the
anything in the vague vicinity of it, and she's just like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh!"
clutches pearls.
Give her the pearl necklace because she needs something to clutch.
And Merlot kind of smirks and glances at you out of the corner of their eye. Welcome to Sun Dragon, darling.
Not
And
different than what I am used to. I like it though.
oh yes, I've found
Well, you
very
really
great.
like it though.
Wait until
You
we
just
get the
think-
wicket.
Merlot flashes a smile. You'll get used to it, trust me. I've found great success and happiness here, much different than I would have had in my home country.
I've already met your queen. I think she's like the coolest.
He flashes a smile. Yes, I've been very fortunate to put on a few performances for her myself. Fantastic audience, very loud.
You perform.
He gives a smirk and gestures to the treasure room in the back. Where do you think all this comes from, darling?
What do you perform?
He smiles and leans forward and glances very slowly. Their eyelids start to droop slightly as a smile curls up their cheeks. Come back later tonight and you might find out, darlings.
Oh God.
Oh god.
Where do I go? Where do we go
Oh.
for that?
Half orc after their
Her
heart.
cheeks are red again.
Merlot flashes you a smile and glances to you, Gil. Get your friend some water. I have customers to attend to.
Oh, okay.
She kind of whispers to oh my
He
God.
just grab. I just imagine he goes and grabs a bucket and just pours it on her.
No,
Merlot.
he's nicer than that.
Merlot leans over the counter to get a good look at you, Carol. And what can I do for you, tiny darling?
Well, I have some nice clothes that I'd want to sell.
At this,
Are
you
they
see their
bejeweled?
eyes go wide, and they almost start to sparkle as a smile overtakes their face. Let me see what you have to offer. Come, sit on the counter, darling. Show me everything you have.
Oh, sit on counter. We talk. We have drink.
I'm afraid that the clothes are all I have. But here, and I pull them out.
They immediately hold out their hands, and it almost looks like they're going to snatch them before they kind of compose themselves and look to you for
Thought he was a
permission.
jeweler, not a clothier.
It seems like this is purely personally motivated.
She just nods and hands them to him.
They very delicately start to examine all of them. The make is rather questionable, but the quality is undeniable. I would look fabulous in this, I'm sure of it. And they look up to you. As much as I would look fantastic in these, darling, I must ask, are you sure you're willing to part with them? I think you would look just as fantastic.
Don't worry, Carol only needs the armor to protect my friends.
You feel a gloved hand on your shoulder as Sheen nods. You heard the lady. And
Frog lady.
you see Merlot kind of glance between
Do
the
they
two of
still
you.
have their tiger?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Garrett
just
just
kind of
follows them.
follows quietly.
And Merlot kind of glances between the two of you and smirks a bit at Sheen before smiling. Well, if you're absolutely certain, darling. And they delicately place the clothes not in the back of with the treasure room, but under the counter with their personal belongings, and almost like merrily skip into the treasure room to start gathering up the money to repay you with. Returning quickly again. This has already been discussed, so they hold out the money they owe you, but you notice as you take it that there's an extra 50 on top.
Oh, you're so generous. Thank you.
I pride myself on a lot of things, and generosity is one of them, darling. Besides, I must be thankful. These clothes are going to be incorporated in my next performance, and it's going to be mwah, and they do the chef's kiss.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Now, Matthew.
Mm.
Nice.
Nice. Merlot gives you a smile. And will that be all, little darling?
Yes, for now.
They give you a smile. All right, then. And turn finally. Has Caleb approached the counter by this point?
Yes.
And they flash you a more relaxed, down-to-earth smile as you approach. And what can I help you with?
Caleb's gonna just put the 2 gems he got. What kind of gems were they again? Because you said don't worry about marking them in my inventory.
Yeah, and you hold out a collection of rubies and topazes.
And
And
Caleb's like, how much can I get for these?
they again, you know the routine. Silently ask permission before taking them and examining
Caleb
them.
nods that they can look at it.
Mm-hmm. And they carefully examine them, this time saying more loudly and not like directing it at anyone in particular, but just almost talking more to themselves out loud. Oh, looks like you all got into quite a bit of trouble, darlings.
Oh no, no trouble at all.
No,
You're
the
just
gems
very lucky.
the gems don't lie, darlings, but don't worry. I am a jeweler and a performer, not an officer.
They had it coming.
Caleb's just like, honestly, most jewelers I know, they usually have at least 1/3 of their stock that had dubious origins.
Merlot gives you a smile. See, the child knows what's going on in this shop. And returning to their back room, they return with an armful of wealth that they hand over to you, Caleb. Don't spend it all in one place, little darling.
How much gold is it?
I'll pin it in our private chat because I already sent you the value. So, is there anything else Caleb wants from them, or are they happy with the jewels sold?
Caleb is happy with the money.
All right, and
I don't look at pinned messages.
well, no, I haven't. There will be a little like thumbtack in the corner of the screen that you can.
Top left corner.
But Zephyr, you're the last one.
Yeah, sad. Rolled a 7 my investigation.
You do find a few emerald rings, but the shop you're starting to notice as you wander it a bit more, most of the group having simply immediately gone to sell rather than purchase. The shop is less a organized place of business and more a garage where some items have price tags and others simply don't. So you do find a few emerald rings, but any price tag you see is so like oddly placed that you can't really tell if it actually applies to the emerald ring or not. So you do find some emerald rings, but you can't tell for the life of you how much the shop is valuing them.
Alright, well, time to gamble then.
Alright, I found it, Matthew.
Alright.
So it's 660?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I will, after my investigation, I will approach the counter.
Uh, they give you a smile as you approach. And here we have the littlest darling of all. A very smart shopper. You take your time. I respect that. Believe me. And you see their eyelids kind of droop again before they smile and lean over the counter.
Do you have a lazy eye?
Uh, they flash you a smile. I like to think I don't, but we'll have to find out. And their goggle kind of zooms
Since
in
his
on
eyes
you.
keep drooping and stuff.
And their goggle zooms to look at you closer, Zephyr. And what can I help you with?
Well, just like the others, I happened to we happened to stumble upon some gems, and I have one to sell.
They flash a smile. Just the one must be quite valuable then.
I believe so. I mean, I'm not a jeweler, but I've seen a few myself.
They flash you a smile. I may not have the lazy eye your young friend suspects I do, but I do have a discerning one. And I think you know how valuable what you have is, darling. So come on. And they start kind of tapping their hands on the counter. Impress me.
Embrace me.
He's going to pull out his emerald that he put on the counter.
You know what that made me think of, Matthew?
Mm,
Did you ever see Expiration Date?
no.
The T.
Or,
You never saw
no, yeah.
the TF2 animation?
Mm-hmm.
Seduce me.
Seduce me. And speaking of which, as you place this finely cut and brightly shining jewel on the counter, they, same routine as always, give you a look to confirm they have permission to examine before retrieving it and looking it over. They don't say anything this time, but you do see a gradually growing wider smile on their face as they look it over before lifting the goggles up to look at you, Zephyr, with a grin. All right, this is quite valuable. I suppose if you're willing to part with it, I'm willing to buy.
And how much are you willing to pay?
They flash you a smile. I think 1,200 is fair, yes?
1,200. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not much for jeweler, but again, I've seen some jewels. Just 1,200 seems a little short.
They give you a smile. They're not the only thing that's short, are they? Sorry, that was just a little joke.
Well, you know, my size, as it is, the size it doesn't change the fact that 1,200 seems rather small for such a valuable gem.
I may be sitting on quite a pretty pile of wealth, darling, but I can't just go giving these things away.
Well, I'm not asking. Just give me. I'm just asking for a reasonable price for this gem.
That's probably how much it sells for.
And
Means he wouldn't make a profit, so he doesn't want to sell it for that.
they kind of lounge over the counter and give you a smile. Then what do you think is a fair price, littlest darling?
I'll look at the gem and well, the thing is, your prices are for your gems are kind of hard to find. So
My apologies. I do not get very frequent customers. Most people around here do not care for the finer things. This shop is simply an excuse to show off my collection and add to it whenever travelers come through.
well, So I couldn't really roughly based off of your prices. So in my opinion, I would say uh, I would say 1,600, but I'm willing to go 1,500 if you're willing to part. If you happen to have a jeweler's kit, I can borrow.
They give you a smile and tilt their head to the side, and one of their eyes goes into a very subtle wink. Interesting. Now, when you say borrow, is this the kind of borrow of, oh, friend, neighbor, may I borrow your sword and never return? Or is this the, you'll be back in a few days for it borrowing?
Well, more of a, you are correct. More of a, I buy it off of you with the prices of a portion of the gem that
They
I have no other gems to use such a jeweler's kit at the moment.
they give you a smile and tilt their head to the side. Make me a persuasion check.
Right. Persuasion. Ooh. 19.
They kind of look you up and down, and you can see them kind of lick their lips slightly before they give you a smile. I suppose that's fair enough, darling. And picking up the emerald, they give you a smile. Give me just a moment. And they, rather than adding the emerald to the pile, actually simply pocket it. And stepping out of sight into the treasure room for a moment, they return with a almost like small briefcase that looks a lot heavier than its size would indicate, and place it on the counter. And along with it, the given value of the emerald itself, and to your surprise, Zephyr, two small and somewhat rough looking but passable topaz gems. I would be remiss if I didn't provide the opportunity for aspiring master of the craft to at least find their footing.
I very much appreciate it.
I appreciate you, darling. You've given me such a fantastic treat.
And I will take my new things.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you may add the agreed upon value you negotiated, along with 2 additional topaz gems and a jeweler's kit. Is that going to be all for all of you, darlings?
We didn't do the you said that you were going to help me with the
Yes, of
Diamond.
course. Sorry, your handsome friend was very distracting. Just a moment, please, and thank you. And they slip back into the treasure room for a moment. A minute passes, 2 minutes. But finally, they step out with several glistening diamonds in their hands, and placing them cautiously on the counter so as to not damage them. Merlot looks to you, Lucian, with a kind of that lazy grin, and says, "So, with all of it out of my treasury, I'm afraid it's, you know, out of treasury, out of mind, as they say." And they kind of start swirling one of their fingers around the circumference of one of the diamonds. How many of these do you think you can afford?
Well, I did just give you 3 different gems that I think are pretty worth, pretty much a lot. You know, I'm no expert, but I do think that they are worth something, of course.
I
Um,
suppose that's true.
how much do you think the 3 gems are worth? Let's start from there.
And they kind of give you a slightly dismissive wave. I've already given you the money. You could just check your pockets. But, and pulling their goggles back down, they start examining the diamonds. And you can almost see the quick mental calculation running through their head before pulling the goggles back up and giving you a smile. I think if you are willing to part with a bit of additional funds, you could probably afford 4.
Hmm. So, out of character, how much would that be?
For diamonds worth 300 gold, 4 of them, that would be 1,200.
Okay, yeah. Lucian will kind of nod. Yeah, I think that's good. I will do 1,200 then.
They flash you a smile. Excellent choice, darling. Happy to be doing business with you. And as you exchange and they carefully give you the gems, make sure to take good care of them. And they flash you a smile. And for what it's worth, I do appreciate the interest in my performances, even if it's not your cup of tea, as they say.
No, as they say, win and wicket.
Uh, you see them kind of crack a smile at that. Dress stuffily.
I guess so.
They give you a smile. Well, if that'll be all, it was fantastic getting to meet all of you. You're all very interesting people with very interesting adventures. If you ever find yourself in need of parting with more jewelry, feel free to come back.
Of course.
Okay, how do I add a 300 gold diamond?
I don't know if there's a thing on it for D&D Beyond, but you could just know that basically, for all intents and purposes, you have 4 uses of the spells you intend to fuel with that.
Do you have to have components to use spells?
Yes.
So if you don't have a focus, yes, but if it states a gold value or states that the material gets consumed with the spell, then yes, you do need it every time you cast it.
Yeah.
Because like Caleb doesn't have any spells. I'm wondering, like, with my warlock character.
Yeah, basically, if you have a focus, then don't worry about it. Only if it says a material worth this much or this material will get consumed. Only then do you need to worry about it as long as you have a focus.
Usually that's like later levels. Like like now, like we're level, 5, so like around third or fourth level where it starts getting like you start needing some money value stuff.
So after that, Lucian will put all of her whole things like, oh my goodness, you okay?
Yeah, just I'm fine.
Okay. I put all my stuff in my pockets and I get that ready. And then I'll turn to Sheen. I say I need 2 more things. I need to go to the general store, and of course we need to go to the blacksmith to get the things made for me.
I'll tell you what, darling. You said that you need these for a sort of religious nonsense that you're into. Why don't you just tell me what you're looking for, and I'll go ahead and place the order for you, and you all can head to the general store without me. It's easy enough to find.
You promise to not think I'm weird?
He kind of gives you a smile. I think it'd be a bit too late for that. Found you in the middle of a swamp after a city collapse, and you're telling stories of horrible ichor demons. I think if whatever religious preferences you have makes me think you're weird, it's a bit of a late start.
That's fair. I need 2 different sigils. I need one from Marzana and one from Jiva.
At this, you hear Merlot starting to sort through their treasury speak up. Scandalous.
Kind of turn and wink.
They
Caleb's just,
they return the gesture.
Caleb's just gonna be like, I don't
That's
get
the
it. Is there
point.
something wrong with those gods?
Well, they're two different gods for a reason. That one is a life god and one is a death god.
So they're polar opposites.
But I have my reasons.
And you can keep them. Not that I wouldn't be interested, but I'm not going to pry into your personal life, especially something as this. Should be easy enough to secure. I'll get back to you with whatever he tells me. And don't worry. And they start to walk another platinum coin along their fingers. I can more than cover it, love.
Are you sure?
They flash you a smile. Please, I made my fortune through nothing but talking to people. I'm kind of eager to start actually spending some of it.
Well, you are really good at talking to people.
They flash you a smile and wink.
Okay, well, I guess all I need to do is go to the general store. I need a backpack for all my things. Actually, do you think I could maybe find like a bag of holding somewhere?
Well, I believe it was either myself or the captain who already covered this, but there's not a whole lot of market for magic items around here. You're either going to have to try your luck in those ruins or head up north, where there is a rather quirky magical item store.
Okay, well then I guess I'll just get a regular backpack for now.
Oh, what a travesty.
All right, I guess lead the way to the general store. You're the native here.
He gives a smile and a shrug. Best of my ability, anyway. And helping you off the counter, Caro, he kind of looks down at you. You gonna need anything else in town, love?
Hmm. No, I should be fine.
All right. Well, I'll be sure to get you. Have my boys get you set up with the gear you were looking for. Don't need you going out there naked.
Yes. Don't worry, I'd be able to take them regardless. But it's
Oh,
better from a distance.
As am I, love. As am I. And they give you a wink and lead the way. Not too far away from the jewelers, they point you in the direction of a very humble looking building. That would be the general store, and I'll meet you guys back at the inn with what info I could get from the blacksmith. Sound fancy?
That would be really great. Thank you.
All right. And he gives you all a genuine but clearly for the fun of it bow before kind of retreating casually, spring in his step and whistling to himself as he makes his way towards the blacksmith, leaving you all to head to the general store.
General
Okay, I go
store.
into the general store.
Yeah, go. Got some money in our pockets.
General
Somebody's really
store.
muffled.
General store.
All right, so who?
We're gonna go to the general store.
So other than Lucian for a backpack, is anyone else looking for anything? Or
I actually have a few other things that I need.
I have
Okay.
well, I don't know if they would have at least one of my things I would ask for, but I do have some stuff that I can. Well,
well, I can't tell you if I don't know what it is.
I
well,
basically I want different clothes than I'm wearing because I'm sure it's gonna get hot. You know.
Valid. Yeah, middle of summer.
Like, maybe like shorts, which is weird for Lucian. And a top.
Okay.
yeah, I probably. But well, I need most of its weapons. I have thieves' tools and ball bearings.
Okay.
Would they have this?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
So, you guys head into the general store. Entering in, you find yourself in a very immediately kind of claustrophobic and uncomfortable shop. The walls are drab and unpainted and undecorated and lined with just a variety of assorted items and knickknacks. But what does catch a lot of your eyes is where the counter is. You initially don't see anyone, but on the wall behind them, you see this massive rack of various weapons.
Well then.
I kind of look around. Hello?
You immediately hear the sound of something very quickly and hard hitting something unyielding and equally hard. Who's there? Who's that?
Hello? You have some customers.
You see someone immediately almost fling themselves over the counter to get a look at you. You find yourself looking at a very lanky, skinny, and unhealthy-looking elven man with dark hair that's just... whereas most elves, especially as they get older, tie their ever-elongating hair into a braid or something similar to keep it from getting in their way, this elf simply has it messily, like almost the equivalent of an elven bedhead, as just this wild,
Never
dark...
heard of the technology of haircuts.
Well, this was mentioned in a previous session. Their hair is magical, so it can't be cut without magical tools.
So I get some magical scissors.
Yeah, because those are just lying around. Even a
Just
cheap
enchant
magic,
just enchant those bitches.
even the cheapest magical items are easily like 100 gold. At the cheapest.
Just enchant that shit.
You find yourself looking at this. The elf is dressed in very drab blues and is wearing leather gloves that are kind of ratty and tattered, and just have this wild, untamed lion's nest hair. And they quickly look over all of you and pull Gil what you recognize as a Geogran pistol from behind the counter. I warn you, I'm armed! I'm willing to use this!
I kind of put my hands up in the surrender. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to buy some things.
They kind of pause and look over all of you. Oh. And they there's like this kind of awkward pause before they kind of give you a very awkward smile and place the
This
pistol.
guy looked familiar to me. He sounds like someone I get along with.
Make a history check, I guess. And I'll say it while you're doing that as he puts the pistol back behind the counter. If it makes you feel any better, wasn't loaded anyway. A few minutes out in this heat, it would just be a stick. I suppose I could hit you with it.
That would be very unpleasant.
Yeah. So, what do you need?
I need a few things from you. Do you have any clothes here?
Yeah. And they start kind of almost scrambling to get over the counter to help you start sorting through things. While they're doing that, Gil?
I got a dirty 20.
You have no idea. Although it'd be hard to tell because, again, with the state he's in physically, it is so far outside of Geogran army regulations that even if you were this guy's best friend, you may not recognize him in his current state.
So, what's your name, by the way? If I might ask.
They kind of fling their head around and, who's asking? Why?
Just curious.
They,
If it would make you feel better, we will give you our names.
I noticed the pistol you have is of Geogran make.
he gives you a nod. Yeah, used to be in the army. Kept it.
Yeah. So, what was
A lot
your
of people in this
name?
county used to be in that army.
Yeah, it's almost as if this town used to be owned by them and was conquered recently.
I know.
I know, but I thought they said like all the soldiers ran away.
Supposedly, but the captain was still here, wasn't he? Lucian, in response to you, he turns and squints to you. You can't just be giving your names out that wildly. That's how they get you.
Uh, um, okay, I can give you a fake name if that would make you feel better.
Caleb's just like, who gets you?
He kind of looks around and then looks to you and then just starts pointing upward.
I look up.
There's
The
nothing but
ceiling gets you?
he's like, no, what's in the ceiling, man? Shush, you didn't hear it from
The
me.
wood
Wait,
gets
what's in
you?
the ceiling?
And he kind of looks between the two of you, kind of trying to keep track of multiple conversations. And eventually he takes a breath and turns to you, Lucian. Mostly beetles and stuff. And turning to you, Caleb. Maybe I should probably check.
Okay, how about those clothes, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chrissy got it.
Caleb is very confused right now.
It's okay.
So just out of curiosity, Matt, how revealing are these clothes?
Well, as he starts sorting through them, basically a coat rack off to the side that he starts sorting through. It's actually clothes from a variety of places. So while the grand majority of them are Sun Dragon made, as his shop is here, and thus are fairly revealing, because they
Do they even make clothes here?
Yes, it's just that in the heat they tend to go very light if wearing anything at all, and they are used to the cold enough to just cover the essentials and move on. Um, uh, but as he starts flicking through, you see things that are a bit more forgiving and conservative. You see a few clothes that are clearly of Gyogran make. You see a few, Kara, you actually see a few that you recognize as being a Blackthorn in origin, and things from a variety of different places with various different
Tell me
styles.
If Tabeja has any clothes
I
making.
don't want anything Gyogren. I just want, you know what? I will actually go for, some like mixture between Sun Dragon and something like nothing too revealing, but like something that will be comfortable when we travel through the heat.
Yeah, I can do that for you. Let me see what I can do. And while he searches, Caleb, I'll point out they do, but it tends to be for common folk, very just matter of practicality, nothing super fancy. And the basically the custom jobs are reserved for the nobility. Everyone at the bottom simply just wears whatever is comfortable and practical.
So they're all about function.
Well, yeah, like Kingdom of Bandits, not exactly much need for fashion.
Also, can Caleb look around the shop and see what's in it?
Go for it. Make an investigation check. And speaking of which, Zephyr,
That's fucked up.
As you and Caleb start to peruse the shop,
Fuck!
you actually
fell off the table again.
you actually do find the items you were looking for. You find
Okay,
several.
Caleb's not very good at looking around. I got a 9.
It's a smorgasbord of items. You see the various weapons, the various clothes. You see the ball bearings that Zephyr is currently checking out, and just a variety of things that you're
Do
not
they
even.
have thieves' tools?
Yes.
Okay, he's gonna grab that first.
Okay. Zephyr.
And then he's gonna look at the weapons.
Okay. So Zephyr, as you and Caleb are browsing, while you're checking out the ball bearings, he grabs one of the thieves' tools off the shelf, but there appears to be more, so yeah, there's still some for you. So Caleb grabbed the thieves' tools. Zephyr, what are you grabbing, if anything? Okay, I believe our streamer has fallen asleep again.
No, I'm falling asleep.
okay.
I muted myself because I was messing with some stuff. But yeah, I'm falling asleep.
Matthew was kind of quick there to be like, hey, and he's asleep. Fuck.
Hey. Yeah, the main reason I slept that last time was because I was sick. I was tired. But
I mean, I'm not mad at you. I was just saying, like, basically, I didn't want to wait for too long, so I was like, okay, like, let's continue.
Yeah, but right now I think of me. I'll grab a a bag of ball bearings and a set of these tools, and I guess I'll head to the counter.
Okay.
Along with my clothes, I'll also get that backpack that I really need, and maybe like a thing to hold all my money and my components in, like maybe 2 different pouches.
Okay. Okay. So.
I was gonna say, does he happen to have any guns for sale?
Not that you see on the wall, but you can ask him. But before you do that, so just keep that in mind. But before that happens, I will say just, basically making sure everyone gets their purchases so that we don't start getting confused over who bought what and how much it's going to be. Caleb, the thieves' tools are going to cost you 25 gold. Zephyr, the bag of ball bearings and additional set of thieves' tools will be 26 gold for you.
Yeah.
And
why did it cost him more?
because he got ball bearings and thieves' tools.
Yeah, ball bearings is 1 gold. So.
And
I got 25 gold registered. Then I'm gonna look at weapons. And I'll add it all up and take it all at once.
yeah, I just basically wanted to go ahead and sort it out.
I typed it into my calculator. And
There was
on there now.
one more thing that I wanted to.
Oh, what'd you want?
I need a sleeping bag or something, so I don't have to sleep on the floor.
Okay.
That's actually a good idea.
Okay.
So they have
like a bedroll,
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so let's get through like the kind of adventuring stuff you guys want, and then we can start going into weapons. Lucian, you see him actually surprisingly put together a passable outfit. He didn't strike you as the type who would be like aware of the requirements of something like that, but to your surprise, he assembles something. It appears to be a very simple but like relatively conservative blue tunic with a set of blue leggings that go down to the knee before kind of abruptly tapering off. The tunic itself is sleeveless. So your arms and a part of your leg will be exposed to allow some ventilation while you're traveling. And as he lays it out on the counter, he kind of looks to you. This about what you're looking for?
Yeah, this actually would be great. Now, this armor that I have on, this studded armor, do you have something like that's not like this heavy, like the same kind of thing, but like not heavy?
Not heavy.
Like I assumed that it was like
not made out of fur.
Yeah, something that's not made out of fur because it's gonna get fucking hot, guys.
He kind of slowly nods his head. Yeah, I think so. Let me see what I can do. Before I forget, and he kind of quickly, actually physically taps each of your items before doing some quick mental math. 30 gold for all of this, if you want all of it.
Yeah, I pull out 3 gold and I slap it on the counter.
All right, so that got you your new set of clothes, your bedroll, your backpack, your component pouch, and your coin pouch.
Great.
Slinking back to start sorting through things, he eventually returns with what appears to be a lightly used, judging by the slight stains, set of studded leather armor, much more equivocal in design to what you had been wearing when the adventure first began.
Okay. This will do, and I'm gonna keep the extra studded, the heavier one, just in case when it gets colder, I'll have it.
Fair enough. Easy enough to do. Okay. Double check.
Just kind of fold it up as best as I can and shove it in the bottom of my backpack.
Okay. Sorry, just a second.
I'm also now categorizing my backpack.
Oh yeah, now that you actually have items.
Yeah. My backpack is very categorized.
And it'll be 45 gold for the studded leather.
Okay, so that will be 50 gold, right? Altogether?
Well, no, like 45 just for the armor, and then 30 for all the other stuff.
Okay. 48. Just trying to see how much I need to subtract. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, in total, that's 75 in total.
Okay.
Okay. So is that everyone covered in terms of just general items before we start getting into weapons? Just again for the sake of easy to
Just
organize.
gonna have Caleb get some more adventure stuff.
All right.
The bedroll made sense.
So he kind of steps away from Lucian, and you see him kind of like doing that thing with his hands of almost like
and also
thinking
Caleb
that.
would ask if he has any more just regular studded armor.
Yeah. And as he starts to walk away,
'Cause Caleb's only really putting up with the furs because it's all he had, but now he's like, oh, maybe I can get some, actual studded leather.
all right. He starts to slink back. Anything else you need, kid?
And does this general store have like supplies, like rations and stuff?
Looking on the wall, you do actually see a pretty healthy collection of rations.
All right, Caleb's gonna go collect some rations. And
Oh, hell yeah, I want
does he
some of
have
that.
water? Does he have water skin?
Yeah,
No,
Keep water. What?
no, because
I
again,
think, yeah, I need
everything.
that too.
Yeah.
Wait,
okay.
what did you say?
Like no, because everything that wasn't your clothes got taken away. So no, you don't.
Well, no. I mean, does this store have one?
Oh
I
yes.
don't have. So Caleb's gonna get those essentials again.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much are rations individually?
5 silver each, so two for a gold piece.
So 2 days of rations for a gold piece.
Yeah.
Can I say mine's like fruit and vegetables?
Yeah. Like it's a. As you sort through, it's actually a pretty healthy variety. You do find several that actually are pre-packaged fruits and veggies. Although you notice it's a kind of disproportionately beans. Although you don't know if there's any significance to that.
Okay. I don't really care as long as it's not meat.
So it's two. So a gold gets 2 days. So
yeah.
15 gold would be a month.
I mean, a lot of food to carry you. Yeah.
Yeah, but yes.
How long is the trek gonna take to the capital? Because that's where we're going next, right?
Well, we're gonna take a side. Yeah, I do have the map. Let me check.
It sounds like we're going to go off into the dungeons, then come back.
Yeah. So assuming you do that and come back, it would be a 2-day trip.
So we're gonna go to the dungeon, then back to the here.
Okay, so according to this, we are. Whereabouts would be the capital? I pulled up the map.
The capital is to the northwest. It's a bit hard to tell given that you, even with a map, don't know the terrain or what might be in your way by heart. But by a rough guesstimate, again, assuming you don't make any pit stops and just take a straight trip there, it would probably take you from here to there, probably in the ballpark of about a week and a half to reach the capital.
Okay. And that's not including our pit stop in the ruins.
So wait, are we going to the ruins and coming back? Or are we going to the ruins and straight there?
I assumed. Well, we can talk about that later.
Well, I mean,
I assumed that we were going to the ruins first, and then going to the capital.
And then coming back, or going straight to the capital?
Like we were going up to the ruins, and then we were going to go from the ruins to the capital to meet the Sun Dragon Queen. That's the assumption that I was in.
Yeah, because
How long would that trip take, Matthew?
Assuming Lucian's estimates of the map are correct, in the ballpark of about 2 weeks.
Okay,
so I answer him about 2 weeks.
Apparently 10 is the most I can add.
Well, you can just do that, I guess, but...
Yeah, like do an extra set, so... Alright, so water skins, bedrolls, is anyone else just for again covering tools and adventuring equipment before we get to weapons? Lucian's already taken care of their purchases, so Caleb's getting a water skin, a bedroll, and some rations. Lucian's getting rations. Is anyone else have anything basically that is equipment but not weapons that they're
That's it.
in the market
But how
for.
much is a bedroll and water skin?
Uh, a bedroll is 2 gold. A water skin is 2 silver.
Okay.
I was trying to said they've got that to keep track of silver. If I subtract 2 silver from my
It'll
currency, will it
automatically
also
do-
keep track of silver?
I think it'll automatically do it.
And if not, you
2
could just
silver.
subtract a gold piece and then give yourself the amount of silver you would get in change. Okay.
Yes, I
didn't
will
do
get
it.
the water skin as well.
Yeah, so just what I do is take away a gold piece and then just give yourself like essentially the change you would get. In this case, that would be 8 silver. Also, Caro, you've been quiet. Is there anything you want to grab while you're here?
Okay, so they took everything, including our rations, right?
Yeah, all you were left with is your clothes.
Nothing.
Hmm.
Now you have armor. Well, no, he hasn't given you armor yet, so.
Yeah, but you got
One
stuff
gold.
you asked for on the way
How
at
much
least.
silver extra would that be? 8 silver
Yeah.
extra?
Okay.
Yeah, because basically, I will be blunt. Remember that aside from those who are purchasing them now, none of you have food or water on your person.
Well, now Caleb has 2 weeks of rations on him and a water skin.
One
Which I assume
other
he has to
thing.
fill with water.
Is there any crap, what's the I'm sorry, I'm like drawing a blank on words tonight. Incense.
Make an investigation check. And while you're doing that, so Kara, did you want to grab anything, and Zephyr as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'll grab the essentials. I'll grab water skin. I don't need a bed really, but and I'll grab some rations. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you know
So I
the
like how Caleb was the only one who thought about rations at first.
yeah, and then everyone else is
I'm
like, oh yeah.
It's basically Caleb went and bought some food, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we have a need to eat."
We'll
drink.
die if we don't eat.
Listen, Lucian got distracted by books.
All right. Okay, and so Kara, do you want to grab anything? Water skin, food?
Yes, water skin and food.
I ain't got a lot
Sir,
of
do you
food.
have any insects? Do you have bugs?
Yeah. Why?
I want them for rations.
Yeah, sure. I got some jars. Give me just a second.
I love him.
This guy has like
Yeah.
everything.
It is a general
He's like-
store.
I mean, he is a very
Yes.
determined general store to really live up to his.
Yeah, maybe we found
Like,
some magical
thing.
items.
Except
Alright.
for magical items.
Yeah, we found any
So if
yet,
platinum is 10 gold, that means a short sword is worth 1 platinum.
Yes.
And fine clothes are 1.5 platinum. So a lever is 4.5 platinum.
Caro, you watch as he opens up a cabinet, and there's actually a small glow from it from several fireflies. But he starts tapping between the different jars. You got any different preferences?
Are they all fireflies, or just there's?
You see a variety, and he starts actually taking some down to allow you to look at them. I got fireflies. I got spiders. I got centipedes.
Lucian is just over there, like, making, like, faces, like, oh.
Caleb,
You mock me now, but whenever the world ends, this is gonna sustain me.
Caleb just looks to Lucy, and it's like, well, to be fair, Carol is a frog person, so it makes sense that they would eat bugs.
Her facial expression does not change. She is grossed out.
Caro, I will allow you to pick what type of bug you want to get, but I will allow you to consider them functionally rations.
Okay. I guess the centipedes they're big and I can eat them.
And they
Their
crunchy.
poison would not hurt me.
He, to your surprise, actually gives you a very genuine smile. Good choice. All right, so
Centipedes are crunchy too. Give a bit of crunch.
I mean, most bugs are crunchy.
yeah, crunchy.
They're
Um,
crunchy.
All right, so it seems like blanket everyone's getting water skin, so that's 2 silvers for that. And I will clarify because Caleb brought it up. The ones that are being offered at the store are already filled.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
How long?
I
long
got
do you
a
have to
19
go
on that
for-
investigation, Matt.
Matthew,
Sorry.
How long?
What's up?
how long does a water skin last before you got to refill it? Is it
3
one
days.
use? Like I said, 3 days of water from a water skin.
Mm-hmm. Although the water skin is reusable, you can just keep refilling it. So.
As long as you find water.
Mm-hmm. And Lucian.
Basically, if you're in a desert, you're fucked.
Sorry, I got a 19 on the investigation to find incest.
Incense.
Incest.
Yeah,
I can't
incest.
speak tonight.
Oh no.
You should have looked at that at the bookstore. We already left the bookstore, man.
Oh man, Twitch, don't do it. Twitch,
Do it.
don't fucking kill
I'm
us.
so sorry.
It's all good.
Twitch is going to assassinate our channel.
Relax,
now.
It's
everyone,
hard
calm
to
down.
say with the accent. Okay.
And looking around, you do find some incense, although it is somewhat dusty and appears to have not been used ever.
How much did I get, and for how much? Just like one, maybe like a
So
block.
are you looking for it as a spellcasting component or
for spell.
okay? Just a second.
How these?
You find various of those little kind of small little bowls of it where you're meant to burn them. About 3 essentially uses of them in total being sold for about 50 gold.
Incense.
I can't say it. I'm not gonna say it again.
It's all good.
Incense.
It's just gonna come out wrong.
It's all good. Relax. Nobody's judging.
I am.
We all.
Listen, I'm even spelling it wrong.
It's all good. Okay. So has everyone gotten everything they need?
Trying to
Yeah.
think.
Other than weapons.
Oh yeah, but again, for the sake of avoiding even further, like,
More
Actually, do you
confusion.
think I could maybe get some holy water here, or do I have to go to the church for that?
as you look around, you actually do find some holy water.
This guy is loaded.
I mentioned this place was cramped.
Yeah.
I'll just grab a flask.
The flask is worth about 30 gold.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay.
I didn't say it was cheap. I just said he had it.
Okay, that's not a problem. I am taking
Yeah.
away 30 gold.
Y'all have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I hope you
And
guys will appreciate this when I revive you.
Kara, have you already just privately dealt with what rations you want to grab?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So as you guys exchange with him the rations, the water skins, those of you who are getting bedrolls, backpack, all the various shenaniganery of what you're gathering. Those of you who don't have backpacks like Lucian, your pockets are brimming, but you have.
Can they get a backpack?
Everybody just keeps remembering shit they need to grab. It's like a real trip to the store.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's how. I mean, in my experience, that's how every trip to the store has gone. That's the wrong character sheet.
I guess I'll get a backpack too.
All right,
Like I
so
literally went out to go buy a backpack and ended up buying 3 fucking diamonds. No, 4. Oh my god.
okay, so
I
for
guess
the
he's
sake,
getting his order too.
Yeah. and yeah, so I'll say Zephyr and Caro. Do you want to pick up backpacks as well?
As a backpack is 2 gold.
Yes.
It's definitely interesting. You don't actually have to buy a backpack. I mean, it doesn't serve any function.
Yeah, it's more for the flavor of like your character actually having somewhere to put things. Although depending on the DM, which I'm not going to say one way or the other if I'm going to fall in that category, I'll find out the hard way. Maybe a bit more harsh of like, oh, there's no feasible way for you to carry as much as you're carrying without one.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll try to find a backpack in my size.
I mean, it's only
small
2
boy
gold.
size.
Most of us have like over 1,000 gold.
Bastards.
Zephyr, it takes some doing, but you do find it's a bit
How
more
much?
like
Wait, you don't have over 1,000 gold?
No.
he got really unlucky.
Yeah, and you know,
Um,
I think Lucian doesn't. It sounds like Lucian doesn't have that much money as well. He's been spending all of it.
I spent all of it on diamonds, which I hope you guys appreciate.
Diamonds, holy symbols, you know, leather armor.
Caleb just sitting on 2,376 gold. That's
Look at you.
hundreds of
The
platinum.
rogues.
Yeah, and speaking of the rogues, Zephyr, you do manage to indeed find a backpack, although it's more a knapsack for a normal sized person, but for you it is a functioning backpack.
Backpack,
And
backpack,
Caro, you as well.
backpack, backpack.
I literally took that from my brain.
All right, so everyone who doesn't already have one, that's 2 gold for a backpack.
What's 36 gold?
All right, so now does everyone have everything they need?
Yes.
Okay.
No, never mind. Just kidding.
I mean, I wouldn't actually be mad. It's more just making sure. The very kind of twitchy elf.
So we gonna get weapons now?
Yeah, relax. I was just saying, like, finalizes. Patience, Padawan.
You've never even watched those movies.
So, exchanges all of the supplies and just kind of looking over the food, the water, the backpacks, the armor, kind of gives you all a somewhat nervous and twitchy smile. Got some big plans ahead of you, huh?
Very.
I mean, we are a
Possibly.
venturing party.
Alright, Caleb's gonna. I guess Caleb will put down the money for his stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just that way it makes the math easier if we can just finalize the adventuring supplies purchases and then go
Alright,
for
so I'll
the weapons.
remove 36 gold, right?
And as he hands over the supplies to everyone, he nervously steeples his fingers before giving a smile. Anything else?
I'm just sitting there categorizing my backpack.
Yes,
We did have a few other things to get you.
wow. More let's just gonna browse the weapon tree.
I'm actually good.
He gives a smile to Lucian and turns to the rest of you. All right, what are you interested in?
Do you have any guns?
Yeah, obviously. What kind do you want?
Obviously.
Obviously.
Well, I'm looking to purchase a pistol.
He gives you a smile and starts to rummage behind the counter out of sight, but you can hear him speak up as he does so. What kind are you looking for? Something small, easy to conceal, something a bit bigger, packs a bit more of a punch?
A fucking hand cannon?
Packs a bit of a punch.
And Zephyr, since you said you were browsing weapons as well, is there anything you're interested in?
Caleb is also browsing weapons.
Is there anything you're interested in as well?
Just.
He's just gonna see what they got.
I mean, I have a few weapons that I would like to get. Mainly a crossbow. light crossbow or sounds like it'd be better, but obviously some bolts, a rapier.
Okay.
So while he's like doing all this stuff with the gun, Caleb's gonna say to Gil, I never really liked those things. They're too loud. Everyone hears it.
Yes, but my father did do one thing, right? Always carry a gun.
Always
Just
carry-
in case. Just for flavor if necessary.
if
Also, Matthew, what are you replacing gun stats for? Like, what
Oh, no, guns
stats?
actually have
yeah,
stats.
there's guns. There's guns
What
in
are the
D&D.
stats of guns?
Depends on what gun you go for. Like a normal pistol is 1d10.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ!
Well, it's a gun.
Yeah. I think there's some
Oh.
stuff.
And I was expecting like a D6 or something, like a crossbow.
It's like $250 for just a pistol. So I mean,
250 gold.
250 gold for a pistol. So I mean, they're expensive, but
Damn.
they do
Well,
hit.
Oh, the 250, to be fair, is for a revolver. A regular pistol's a bit cheaper.
No pistol. I just looked at pistol, and that's 250 from at least D&D Beyond standard.
Yeah, well, because I have it pulled up. Pistol is worth 150, but a revolver is 250.
I don't got that.
Yeah, the D&D Beyond is also just saying pistol, 250 gold, 3 pounds.
Either way, just what is Gil trying to get?
Which, yeah, he said something that picks a bit more of a punch. So, Zephyr, you wanted a light crossbow, some bolts, and a rapier. Gil is trying to get his hands on a pistol and some ammunition, presumably.
Yeah.
And what did Caleb want?
Caleb's just gonna have a look at first and see if anything catches his eye.
I'll say make me an investigation check, but just hold your result in mind while I sort out the others. After a while, Gil, he reemerges from behind the counter with a bag of presumably bullets, a bandolier with a powder horn, and a somewhat clunky looking but functional flintlock pistol. All of which he lays on the counter and does some mental math before saying, if this is all you want and you want the ammo to go with it and the powder horn, all that should be about 160.
I'm a little bit short. How about 140?
You're actually very tall.
How much do you need, Gil?
Well, he's trying to haggle a little bit, okay? Shh.
And the general store owner just squints at you. I don't think you understand, because, I mean, sure, there's only going to be so much longer while gold still has value, but I could use it to buy a lot of guns. But if I get rid of this gun and I don't have money to get a new one, what if this one shot is going to be what saves my life from the zombies?
Good point. I can do 150. That's all I got.
He shakes his head. That might get you the gun, but I'm not going to be able to give you bullets for it. Or the powder horn, for that matter.
How much are you wanting?
160, please.
I will give you an extra 10.
Thank you.
The general store owner seems as satisfied as his face ever shows, and slides the gun, bullets, and loading horn over to you.
I then pocket them. And out of curiosity, does he happen to see my right arm?
If he does see it, he doesn't seem to be reacting.
Okay. I was just curious since he mentioned that he was in the army.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can try to get, like, cause you can make an
No,
insight
I'm not
check.
trying to
if you want,
scare him. It's
Yeah.
just I'm like seeing if he recognizes it.
I guess make an insight check if you're just.
What are you laughing about?
Caro sent something in chat.
15.
You do see him glance to it, but if he recognizes the symbol, he doesn't seem to either know what it means or care.
Okay. And then I just added regular pistol, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a 1d10 damage.
She's organizing her backpack, and she just kind of side glances at Gil. I hope you learn how to use that thing. Do
Get fired
you have a
on.
changing room that I can change in my new clothes?
It's not a changing room, but I do have a panic room. Just don't eat any of the beans. Those are mine.
This guy is basically a doomsday prepper.
Yeah, sounds like it.
That is good as done. I'm gonna go change.
He's
Oh,
just
wow.
selling
I will
his
go change.
excess crap.
Quite literally, actually. And he gives you a nod. Yeah. Follow me. And he leads you behind the counter, and you find yourself at a door that you had just kind of ignored on first entering. But you see, as he approaches it, a series of locks running down the side of the door. He quickly puts in a combination for the combination lock, takes a key out of his pocket and undoes another, pulls back a bolt, pulls a slab of wood out of the way, and takes a chair that's barring the door handle out of the way before finally opening it. All right, hurry up.
Okay, I'll be as fast as I can. Don't rush a lady.
Okay, and don't eat my beans. I'm serious about that.
I won't. I promise.
Because I'll know.
So you
Close
can't
the
eat
door.
beans every night.
I'm gonna get dressed.
No, not every night. Every other night. That's what the bugs are for. Anyway,
So
and
you
he
wouldn't
turns,
so you wouldn't notice immediately if this is the off night.
but that's why I do counts. You got to keep track of things. That's how they get you. They think you don't notice, but then you count and you notice.
But you
After
said you
I'm-
only
after
count
I'm
every
dr-
other day.
I eat the beans every other day, but I count them every day, twice.
After I'm dressed.
But he said
After I'm dressed, I will fold my clothes, put it on the bottom of my backpack with the heavier set of armor that I have. So I have like a heavy set of clothes on the bottom of my backpack, and just like reorganize everything before I
Yeah.
get back out.
Okay. So, Lucian, while you're changing, the owner heads to help with Zephyr. And Zephyr, for a light crossbow, a quiver of bolts, and a rapier, he tallies it all up. 55.
Alrighty then. I guess hand him 55 gold.
He kind of snags it out of your hand and does a quick count between his fingers before nodding. Thank you. Don't worry. All this stuff, it's quality.
Bet.
Are my clothes nice? Like, are they soft?
They are actually fairly comfortable. They're not. I'd say you prefer your regular clothes, like because but you can chalk that up to these having not been broken in. They are relatively comfortable. It's that kind of like almost polyester feel of like it's not uncomfortable, but you'd certainly rather silk.
Do I probably feel naked with my arms all sticking out?
Yeah, but you'd ask for something that was heat resistant. It's kind of difficult to be heat resistant and long sleeved at the same time.
Yeah. I just as before I get out, I just kind of look at my scarred arms and just kind of take a deep breath, and I go join the others.
All right. As soon as you step back out, the elf steps past you and starts reattaching all the locks to the panic room, and immediately looks you up and down and kind of stares at you before turning back to the others. All right, is everyone happy? Everyone good?
you want my roll?
Yeah.
I got 17 in total.
Checking the weapons rack, it's a pretty respectable collection. Most of it appears to be, again, slightly used, but you see a healthy variety of crossbows, bows, swords, spears, shields. And while the guns seem to be kept behind the counter or somewhere else out of sight, you do see a small sheet of parchment that lists different guns they carry and their prices.
Do they have some kind of throwing weapons, like the needles or throwing knives he had?
If they do carry needles, they're not on the weapons rack. However, they do indeed have knives that could be utilized for throwing purposes.
All right, Caleb's gonna get a few of those.
Right. Uh,
How much
he
are they? Caleb's
2
gonna-
gold
how much
each.
are- Okay, they're 2 gold each. Caleb will get 6, 3 on each side of his body.
Okay.
Because I assume his clothes included his.
Yeah.
Like parts where he stuck the weapons.
Yeah.
So
All
that'll
right.
be 12 gold.
Okay. He hands over the daggers to you and looks over everyone. Okay, we all good? We happy?
Do I add just daggers?
Yeah.
Lucian puts on her backpack and, trying to adjusts it and adjusts her shirt one more time. Yeah, thank you for all your help.
Happy to help. Gotta stick together out here.
Yeah. What did you say your name? You didn't give us your name. Give me your name. I like you.
He kind of looks around, and you can see that almost suspicion that he doesn't know what's listening and what will take advantage of the knowledge. Before finally leaning back and speaking, not even directly to any of you, but speaking almost upwards to project his voice towards the ceiling. Well, if you ever want to find any more quality products, definitely don't visit Clover's shop.
I will whisper, thank you. My name is Lucian.
He smiles and gives you a thumbs up before tapping his fingers rapidly on the counter. All right, I gotta do an inventory. Gotta make sure none of these thieves pocketed anything. So if we're done here,
It's like whenever you buy thieves' tools, you just instantly get the suspicion of the guy who runs the place.
To be fair, it seems like this guy's suspicious of literally everything with a pulse and most things that aren't.
Okay. I'm gonna head towards.
I was just saying in general.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head towards where we're staying, where I said that we would meet Sheen.
Okay. All right, and the rest of you, any last minute purchases from the general store?
I think we're good.
I mean, I got pretty much everything.
I have 6 daggers in my inventory. I really wish it would stack them.
Well, yeah. If it helps, you can keep better track of them since none of them are magical or boosted or anything. You can just mark one so that it'll be on the list of items you can use in combat, and because they're all basically the same. So yeah, that lowers the strain. That's what I have to do for one of my other characters.
But just when I go into my inventory, it's just dagger, 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 dagger.
Well, give me some time. I can remove some of them.
Look at Guilford. He had 4, and then at one point I think he went down to 1 almost.
And then 0.
5.
All right, and Caro, you've been quiet. You happy with your purchases? Got everything you need? Okay. So, with the party re-armored, re-equipped, with the exception of Caro, but they will be re-equipped soon. Everyone sans Zephyr re-equipped with a bedroll for more comfortable sleeping. And everyone as comfortable as they're going to get. Yeah, and food. With the party's inventories more or less restored, and having met a few of the interesting townsfolk, the party starts making their way back towards the inn to meet up with Oshin Cassidy and make the final preparations before heading up north to investigate the Gyogren ruins, where people have been mysteriously
I thought we
disappearing.
were staying a few days, like the whole fucking.
Yeah, like I said, final preparations.
Okay.
And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Okay. Sounded
I
like
already have plans for next session.
the thieving. Steal.
Insane.
Yes.
He's out. Yeah, I was gonna say he's out of money. There's no fucking way Gil's not gonna try and steal something.
There's a huge treasure trove.
I could hear the humiliation in his voice at being offered money.
I was like,
Yeah.
No,
How much money
Lucy's
does
never gonna
everybody
let you
have?
live that down.
I'll just pay it back once I steal from someone.
steal.
How much money does everybody have?
That's a good question. I spent quite a lot.
All right, so before we start doing a bunch of calculations, thanks everyone at home so much for watching. Thanks all of you so much for playing. And next time, we hopefully will have some interesting adventures in town and see what's up with those ruins. And we'll see you all next time.